Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be comparing the Nord N10 5G versus the Poco X3 NFC. So if you're new to the crew, do me a favor, hit both the like and the subscribe button as well as the bell icon. But if you're already a part of the crew, salute. So in the boxes of both, we do have your 33 watts fast charger on the Poco device right here. So we're gonna get the huge brick inside of here as well as your gel case, and you do get that large brick inside of here. You're gonna be able to see that we do get your Type-C cord with red accents inside of the cable and the clear gel case inside of the box. Whereas inside of the Nord, we are getting that 30 watts fast charging brick, which is really huge, and you also do get that white accented cable with the red cord included inside of there as well. Now both of these devices do have that glossy material on the back of each device, and you can see that we have a fingerprint sensor on the OnePlus N10 5G, and that's going to be giving us also the quad camera setup as well as the quad camera setup on the Poco device. We'll get into that in a little bit more detail, but you can see we are going to be getting Gorilla Glass on the Poco X3, and we are getting some glossy polycarbonate material on the back of the Nord, so I just kind of want to throw that out there. But on the sides of the Poco X3 NFC, it's going to be that plastic material, but we do get that side mounted fingerprint sensor on the Poco X3 NFC, which is really cool because it's really fast. And you can see we do have that rear facing fingerprint sensor on the Nord. And when it comes to the facial recognition, both of these devices are really quick when it comes to that facial recognition. So there's no issues with either one when it comes to the security and the build quality. Now on the right hand side of both devices, you can see we do have that power button on the Nord, and we do have that power button on the right of the Poco X3 NFC. Volume rockers are above the power button on the on the NFC right here, so you can see we do have that side mounted volume. On the other side of the Nord, you can see we do have the volume rockers on this side. So you can see we do have those on this side when it comes to that. And we're gonna get into the cameras as well as the software, as well as the chipsets and the battery life as well. But when it comes to the overall battery, we are getting a much bigger battery life when it comes to the the Poco X3 NFC. We're getting that 5,160 milliamp hour battery versus the 4,300 milliamp hour on the Nord 5G. So I just want to let you know that the battery will be bigger, but we are getting NFC on both of these devices for sharing information across devices, which is really cool. And we do get different interfaces, the Oxygen OS on the Nord, and we do get the MI UI, which you're gonna see is really complex and really sophisticated right here, which is also really snappy. And we're going to get into the displays because I definitely want to talk about how beautiful both of these displays are for the money. Now what's really cool is that we do have 120 hertz refresh rate when it comes to the Poco X3 NFC, and we do have 90 hertz refresh rate on this guy right here on the right. So I just want to kind of show you these settings options when we go into both of the options for the refresh rate, and you're going to be able to see that we do have the option to change them from 90 to 60 or 120 to 60 as well. Now what's really interesting is that the Poco X3 NFC is IP53 water resistant with a nano coating with the plastic material, Gorilla Glass 5, and on the Nord we do have Gorilla Glass 3 on here. But I just want to let you guys know on the display of the Poco X3 NFC, we are getting that 120 hertz refresh rate as well as the 1080 by 2400 And on the N10, we are getting the 90 hertz refresh rate with the 1080 2400. But when it comes to the NFC, we're getting 406 pixels per inch with a very high density. And on the Nord, we're getting 395 pixels per inch with a high density. So that's going to be the difference when it comes to the displays. You're also going to notice that we do get the punch hole on the left side of the Nord, but on the Poco, we get it in the middle. So we'll get into the cameras in a little bit more detail because that's where the camera for the front-facing cameras will be. But that's pretty much how both of these devices definitely will have dual speakers. So I just want to make note that both of these devices will sound really good when it comes to the speaker quality, because we are getting that really good sound quality on both of these devices. When it comes to the devices customization for sound quality, all you have to do is go to the sound, and you're going to see something right here inside of the Nord, which is the Dirac audio, which is pretty cool. And for this guy right here, it's going to have some pretty good sound effects as well, which is going to be pretty much built right in right here as well. So, you know, they both have some pretty decent sound quality. I definitely think they sound really good when it comes to the speakers on both, when it comes to those dual speakers. And the white balance on the screen is going to just be a little bit more, the higher exposure with the white balance here. But just keep in mind, you can customize the screen displays to match your own personal preference. So I can make that more cold, or I can make that more warm if I so desire. Now, when it comes to storage, we will get a base storage on the X3 of 64 gigabytes with 6 gigabytes of RAM, and then you can move up to the 128. Whereas on this guy right here, you're basically going to be able to have 6 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes out of the gun, which is definitely pretty cool. So I definitely think that's going to be pretty cool that you can play games like Fortnite on here. The graphics will definitely be up to par, and you will be able to basically, you know, do pretty good with this device. So with this device right here, which is the Nord, we are going to definitely be getting some really good graphic quality on this device because it does have 6 gigabytes of RAM. And then, like I said before, we're getting a really good chipset. So we're getting a Snapdragon 690. So let me just turn down that music right there. But as you can see, it's just really smooth graphics on here. And like I said, the Snapdragon 690 5G is going to be on here, and it's going to be an 8nm processing chip clocked in at 2 gigahertz on this guy. So, you know, as far as the processing speed, it's going to be pretty good. And as you can see, we also do have for the graphics the Qualcomm Adreno 619L, which is definitely going to be good for when you're gaming and you're, you know, in the heat of the moment. You definitely want to have a higher graphic intensive chip, which will give you more smoothness overall when you're gaming on here. So I definitely think that's going to be important when it comes to like gaming on this device. But overall, I think you will be able to play all your games and everything really easily on this thing. So you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever when it comes to gaming on the OnePlus device. So I just kind of want to throw that out there. Like I said, both of these devices do have really good internet connections, 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi plus the 2.4 gigahertz as well. You can game in ultra graphics when you choose balanced and on this device, which I really do like. You also do get the proximity sensor, light sensor, accelerometer, compass, and gyroscope on both of these devices, but neither one of these devices do have the LED light. But we actually do have liquid cooling inside of the NFC, which is something that's pretty cool. It's the liquid cool technology 1.0 plus. So if the phone gets hot, it will have that reinforcement for when you're gaming. So I definitely think that's pretty cool on this device as well. So I definitely think this is a really good gaming phone for the price. You also do get a really good chipset on this device as well. So I can't stress that enough. You're also getting it's gonna be able to have the Snapdragon 732G, which is definitely a really good processing chip when you compare it to the N10 5G as well. So like I said, both of these devices will have really good gaming performance on both of these things, and you will be able to compete very well when you're gaming on both of these devices. So with the 6 gigabytes as well as the 128, it's definitely going to be well enough, you know, RAM and stuff like that. And you know, I'm losing connection to the internet right now. But when it comes to the software on both of these devices, we do have, like I said, the Oxygen OS, and we do have the, you know, MIUI, and they're both running on Android 11, which is kind of cool. So when I go into About Phone, you can see that I'm on the version right here of the, you know, it shows me the version. I do have Android 11 as well on the Oxygen, running the 11 build on this guy. So I definitely think that's pretty cool as well. Both of these devices are pretty much up to date with that Android 11 and very fast and powerful, as well as the cameras are really good. We're gonna get that manual video mode on this guy right here, which is something that I really do like. So on the NFC, we do get the manual video mode. We also do get dual video mode, where you can see what's in front of you and in back of you. So it just has some really cool tricks up its sleeve. You also do get Nightscape. These both do record in 4K as well as 60 frames per second on 1080p. Now the Poco NFC does have a 64 megapixel made by Sony, and the Nord N10 does have a 64 megapixel made by OmniVision. And there's going to be a wide angle camera on that's an 8 megapixel on the Nord and a 13 megapixel wide angle on the Poco NFC. So it's going to be a bigger camera lens. We also do get a 2 megapixel for macro, as well as a 2 megapixel for macro and portraits on the NFC, but we get a 2 megapixel for black and white photos. So they both have pretty similar camera arrangements, and you can see when you go to photos that they are going to give you some options for those color adjustments. You can do mono, and you can do all these different types of black and white photos to choose from on your color palette. So they do have a ton of different features here. You also do get a lot of portrait settings and things of that nature to customize it. But I definitely think that the Poco X3 NFC does have a really good video camera, because it's going to give you that pro mode for video. So you're going to be able to tailor the focus and everything like that, and change the wide angle, ultra wide angle, and you can change it to macro on video mode too. So that's something that's really interesting and really sophisticated with this camera. But let me know what you guys think about both of these devices, and I'm gonna get right back with you later, crew. Peace.